Well, not the result we wanted, but Southgate and his team have done us proud. Now, later than billed, it's the ITV News.
Not again. Yes, it happened again. England lose on penalties. Euros glory for Mancini's men and saw England's dreams disappear.
Well, I think we've given everybody some fantastic nights. We wanted to give them one more, and we're so close to having done that. Yeah, it's hard for me at this moment to put that into words, really.
Pride in the Lions, but heartbreak now. Football still isn't coming home. Prince George too young to know the pain of penalties passed, but disappointment clear. Drama outside Wembley too, as a security breach saw some fans without tickets storming the stadium. And away from the game and off the planet, Branson flies to the edge of space.
From Wembley, this is ITV News with Nina Hossain.
Good evening. Some things never change. This had seemed like the England campaign to right the wrongs of the past. They were a proper team. They improved game by game. They reached the final of a major competition. They had the chance to confirm against the Italians a footballing renaissance. But once again, it was a penalty shootout that did for them, just as in Euro 96 when their now manager Gareth Southgate missed his. For those in the stadium and watching at home in their tens of millions, Prince William summed it up pretty well in a message to the team. You can hold your heads high.
Teenager.
It felt so cruel. After lighting up the tournament, giving the country something to smile about game after game, the spectre of penalties once again was the undoing of England. 19-year-old Bukayo Saka's miss left Italy European champions and Gareth Southgate's young squad defeated, deflated and wondering what could have been. It hurts now, and that sinking feeling will probably get worse in the days ahead. It was their moment to end decades of tournament torment, and it slipped them by. Wembley had never seen anything like it. Ticket or not, they all wanted to be able to say, I was there. The air around the stadium, thick with smoke and expectation. For most, this was brand new territory. They'd no memory of England's last tournament win. For them it exists only as grainy film footage.
Simply put, it's the biggest day of everyone here's life. My dad wasn't even alive last time we won something.
Massive occasion. Hopefully the fans can get behind the team and they can bring it home and make 2021 the year that it's supposed to be.
The clamour to watch this match unfold spilled over, a mindless minority riding roughshod over security staff. The stadium was shut for a while, but a small number did make it through. Inside, England's history boys ready to write a new chapter in a book that already reads pretty well. Any national event deserves a fitting salute. In Britain there is one that never fails to give you goosebumps. This is a proud England team, patriotic and passionate in their manager's image. School night or not, most mums and dads are showing leniency when it comes to bedtime tonight. The best way to calm big match nerves is to get ahead and to do it early.
To Luke Shaw!
Luke Shaw arriving late and making a difficult job look simple.
What a time to score!
Another record notched up, the fastest ever Euros final goal. Most definitely worth staying up for. The Hollywood set were impressed too, with a little more reserved. England seemed largely untroubled and in control. It was calm, business as usual, until Federico Chiesa reminded them just why Italy had claimed so many scalps on the way to Wembley.
Oh, what a chance!
As if they hadn't already been warned, Chiesa came hunting again after the teams turned around. Jordan Pickford saving England's blushes. Italian pressure finally told. Pickford does his bit, but Leonardo Bonucci reacted far quicker than anyone else.
Bonucci equalises.
An already tense encounter suddenly moved into stomach-churning territory. On England's rare foray forward, the Italians were having none of it. It was dramatic, it was nerve-wracking, it was extra time. There were few scares until penalties loomed. Then Italy so nearly shattered English hearts, but they didn't. And you know what comes next. Would fate be kind or cruel to Gareth Southgate 25 years on? It was one apiece when Bulletin stepped up. Pickford guessed right, advantage England. Maguire was up next, his strike unsavable. Pickford guessed right again, but Bonucci too good. England. Rashford had missed his, meaning Jadon Sancho had to score to keep England on course. Donnarumma kept him at bay easily. Jorginho could have won it, but Pickford pulled off another world-class stop. It was left to teenager Saka to score to take this torture to sudden death. The ghost of '96 returns to haunt England, and if anyone knows the pain, this man does. For England's heartbroken players, watching Italy celebrate must be hard to do. By any measure, reaching a final is success, but this group won't see it quite like that. Those that came hoping to experience a once-in-a-lifetime moment still have a great story to tell, but of course, it could have been so much better.
Absolutely good, mate. Absolutely good. We've told everybody it's coming home. It's not home, is it? We go again. It's not home.
It's not going to be a fun week, is it? Like, I don't know. I just feel really sad.
The disappointment that swamped Wembley engulfed England fans around the country. The beer throwing and cheers of those opening minutes turned to heartbreak and, yes, tears as the trophy drifted out of reach. It was bitter disappointment, not the sweet taste of victory they'd fervently believed was coming. Paul Brand was with some of them.
From Cambridgeshire to Croydon, by early evening, England had found its voice. Now, it just needed something to cheer. In Sunderland, after 55 years, would they really only have to wait 2 more minutes? As Luke Shaw hit the net, Manchester hit the roof. While in Rome, Jaws hit the floor. And in Lincoln, some had already hit the beer. But could England hold its lead while the nation held its nerve? A missed opportunity for Italy before half-time meant a chance back here to get even more drinks in. But just a few sips into the second half, and in Bury, they could no longer taste victory. As Italy equalised, back in Rome, the celebrations drew level. In a rainy Trafalgar Square, the gloom was setting in. Extra time and extra nerves. Before it was all down to penalties and all up on their feet. They watched as England saved 2. But missed 2. And fatally, then 3. In Italy, they knew football was theirs. For England, it's tears coming home tonight. Paul Brand, ITV News.
Let's get more now from our sports editor, Steve Scott. It started so well, didn't it? And then it ended so badly.
It ended, oh no, not again, didn't it? You know, the curse of Gareth Southgate's penalty nightmare came back to haunt us just when we thought it might be over. We were hoping for karma, we got something completely different. Now, Gareth Southgate's done nothing wrong, hasn't put a foot wrong throughout this entire tournament, but I think there'll be questions over the next couple of days about his penalty strategy tonight. He brought on Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, right at the very end, just to take those key kicks. They barely touched the ball, both stood up and both missed. And then, to keep England in the game, to go through to sudden death, 19-year-old Bukayo Saka was asked to take that fifth penalty. Now, they've obviously planned all this, but it seems quite a lot of pressure to put on young shoulders, and if there's any person in the world who should know that, it's Gareth Southgate. Having said all that, I think when the dust settles, this tournament for England will be seen as a great success. They really have done well, they've played well, they've united a nation, which is special in itself. And if you think about it, they've done a World Cup semi-final and now a Euros final in succession. England is no longer a laughingstock. World Cup
next year as well. Steve, thank you. Well, there's been a bit of a contrast between fan zones in England tonight and those in Italy. James Mates is in Rome this evening. James, how's the party there?
Well, it's not here anymore because they've cleared it. Even on a night like tonight, the COVID protocols are being enforced, but all they're doing is distributing people around this city where there are fireworks and firecrackers and air horns going off. I mean, this meant so much to the Italians. I know we think they've won so much on the world stage that just another tournament, but I mean, it's 50 years since they won the Euros. They've lost 2 Euros finals in the last 2 decades. They really, really wanted this one. And when we think of how much has been said about what this would have meant to England after the last 18 months and what everyone's been through, it's been just as bad here in Italy. The release of pressure, if you can put it that way, after coming out of this long period of terrible COVID times and lockdowns is being felt here tonight. They're going to be partying late into the night here in Rome.
James Mates, thank you very much. Well, as Steve mentioned in his report, the breach of security here at the stadium when those ticketless fans got in. Daniel Hewitt is also here at Wembley. Daniel, how are the fans now and what exactly happened earlier?
Well, the vast majority of fans, Nina, are depressed. Most of them have gone from Wembley Way, I have to say. England fans left on the whole peacefully. They probably want to get as far away from here as possible. There's a few Italians hanging around, the handful of ones in the stadium having some photos. A depressing night on the whole, and a worrying night really when it comes to security here. There were some supporters who arrived here, thousands arrived I think without tickets, but a small group of them actually breached security here. I think we can show you the photos of that. They breached security, they got past the kind of outer ring of security and made their way into the stadium, rushing into the stadium itself. Now initially Wembley released a statement saying that no one had got into the stadium itself without a ticket. They updated that statement later to say that some fans had got in. There are some reports, unverified at this stage, that fans were there up until half-time actually watching the game. An attempt was made to get everyone without a ticket out of the stadium. Outside the stadium throughout the game, there were fans clashing with police. I have to say, this is slightly worrying, I think, for the World Cup bid, the UK-Ireland World Cup bid for 2030. I think UEFA will have some questions over what happened here tonight in terms of security.
Absolutely, Daniel Hewitt, thank you very much. In tonight's other news, the Virgin Galactic PR department must have winced when they realised Sir Richard Branson's first journey as a space tourist coincided with England being in tonight's final. His flawless away day to weightlessness was all done and dusted before the match began, as he had hoped. He called it the experience of a lifetime, the flight, not the match. Emma Murphy watched how he did it.
He has set many global records. This was Richard Branson's attempt to achieve galactic ones. His walk to the VSS Unity rocket ship, the steps of a man on the cusp of a lifetime's dream, stepping from Earth towards space. The launch at dawn in New Mexico, a moment of history for the teams who've spent years preparing for it. 9 miles up, and amid the roar of motors, Unity's solo journey began. A 2,000-mile-an-hour flight to space.
3, 2, 1, release, release, release. Clean release.
From 50 miles above, astronaut 001 viewed the Earth below.
to the next generation of dreamers. If we can do this, just imagine what you can do. Yay!
Weightless and closer to his aim to make these moments a reality for all those who also dream of space travel.
All right, we have 3 landing gear down and locked.
And then it was time for gravity to return him to Earth, to the grandchildren, part of the future generations he hopes to inspire.
It's just so lovely to be able to do something in these days of COVID where kids can be awestruck, you know, and they can get excited and anyway, yeah, and go and watch the football.
Richard Branson has dreamt of this since he saw the first moon landing. He realised his dream today, so did all those who've planned this trip for years, bringing the chance of space travel a little bit closer for us all. Emma Murphy, ITV News, New Mexico.
No prizes for what will be on the front pages of tomorrow's papers. The Times says the penalty curse has denied England their dream after 3 players missed theirs. The Telegraph also mentions the ultimate agony with penalties, heartbreak again. And the Daily Mirror also picking up the heartbreak theme, but says the players have done England proud. Well, let's get a final thought from Steve. It was Italy's night, but we should have pride in the Lions, shouldn't we? That awful picture of Southgate hugging Saka there, but overall, over the tournament, what a tournament it's been.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament. It was great to see 3 home nations involved, but for England, yeah, of course it was heartbreaking. But if you think how they've kind of got a nation together, there's been something to look forward to most weeks as they've been playing so well. And you just have to look at Wembley behind us tonight and the number of people inside that stadium, quite uplifting really when you're given the last 18 months we've been through. As far as England concerned, they used to be derided as a tournament team, you know, not anymore. And I think this tournament will do football in this country a lot of good. There's something very likeable about this team, and they've only just started. This is the beginning for this England team. It's certainly not the end.
A young team. Steve Scott, thank you very much. Well, since that first group match against Croatia 4 long weeks ago, today the England team did get better and better. The country got more and more behind them. Having the fans in Wembley helped, but even that wasn't quite enough. Still, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? From Wembley, good night. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying up with us this night of nights. When football calls in normal times, its fans are quick to answer. For England's fans, these Euros have drawn close its various legions. That power of sport to bind us tight is only now returning. From coast to coast, they've unified its regions. They started slow, but raised their game and lifted a country's spirits. Untouched by decades of disappointment, even Germany held no sway. The ghost of umpteen penalties past, should fans dreamed, be finally sent packing.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And by reaching a major final, defeat's tears could be wiped away. So here was the chance on Wembley's green to engrave their names in history. In tonight's big game, after a long campaign, would the reward of immortality beckon? Names like Moore, Hurst, Charlton and Styles still echo from the summer of '66. Could today's England Lions eclipse those who followed, like Gazza, Shearer or Beckham? The Italians would take some beating. Sadly, so